Hello everyone. I'm going to be showing you how to create S3 cross-region replication. We want to be able to replicate objects from one bucket to another in a different AWS region. So to do that, some of the things we are going to need an IAM role that gives S3 the permissions to be able to do the replication. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to head over to the IAM dashboard right here. Go to the IAM dashboard, and we are going to create a role. Remember, we did IAM in the previous session. So I'm going to show you how to create an IAM role for S3. So you head over to the dashboard, IAM dashboard, and click on roles over here. Then you're going to click on create role. You click on create role. And at this time, we're creating a service role, not an account role. We're creating a service role. That is checked by default. If it's not checked, just make sure you check it, service role, AWS service role. And then we're going to head over to the use case. The use case, what service is going to be using this role, we are going to look for the service that is going to be using the role. We're going to click where it says choose a service, use case. We're going to look for S3. And we select S3. And when we select S3, it's going to be showing allow S3 to call AWS services on your behalf. So we're leaving the first option. The first option is what we are going with. And then we are going to click next to give it the permissions it needs. So we're going to be attaching a policy to that role. So when you head over to add permissions, we're going to click on let's look for, just give it administrative access for now. Let's give that role just administrative access for now. But the best practice is use the principle of least privilege. So we're going to just give administrative access for now and click next. And then you ask for the role name. The name is, you can give any name, but I will give a name that is similar to what I'm doing. So I will use S3. I'll use something like S3 underscore cross-region replication. CRL stands for cross-region replication. And I will go ahead and create this role. Perfect. So after the role is created, we're going to go back to services, look for S3. Look for S3. We're going to click on create. So we're going to need two buckets, one in region A and one in region B. So for this demo, I'm going to be using US is 1 for the source bucket and US is 2 for the destination bucket. So I'm going to click create bucket and I will give a name for it. I will call it this way. I will name it US dash East dash 1, and I will give it dash CRR. So US dash East dash 1 dash CRR, meaning, so I will know that this is the bucket in US East 1. So I will go up to regions, to AWS region, and I will select Virginia, right? US East 1, and leave everything default. Leave everything default, and I will enable versioning to do S3 replication. Versioning must be enabled in both the source bucket and the destination bucket. So I will enable versioning and leave everything as default and click on create bucket. The bucket in region A, which is US is 1, is created. So let me create another bucket again, which is for US. So I will call it again US dash East dash 2, this time for Ohio region, and dash CRR. And now choose Ohio this time, and also enable versioning. Also enable versioning on it, and leave everything default and click create. Now, the S3 replication role is going to be created in the source bucket. So I'll go back to my buckets and choose the one in US East 1, which is the source bucket. And I will click on, click on it, open it, go to management. When you go to management, you're going to look for replication rules. And if you see right now, we don't have any replication rule. So we're going to create one, click on create replication rule, and I'll give a name to it. Any name will work. So cross CRR dash rep dash row. So any name will work. Anything you give there as a name will work. But that's just the one I choose to go with. And make sure that the status is selected as enabled. If not, do that. So it's selected as enabled. Then I'll go all the way down and it will say choose the row scope. Limit the scope of this row using one or more of the filters. I want to apply to all objects. So select that. Then it would ask me to specify the destination bucket. It say in this account. So I'm using this account. We're going to do another practicals for if we're using a cross account to replicate these objects. So I'm using this account. So I will look for the bucket in Ohio, which is this one right here. US is 2 CRR. I will choose that, and I will choose path and the row. Very important, because if you don't attach this row, the replication will not work, because S3 needs the permissions. So I'm going to choose an existing row, the one I created. I created a row before, and I will look for the row I created. It was called, the row was called S3 CRR. That's the row right there. I select it and then leave everything as default. Leave everything as default and click save. And it will ask, yes, I want to replicate existing objects also. So I will click that. That is to mean if there are any other objects, if there are objects in this bucket before the replication row was created, they should also be replicated. I'll click submit. Now, this part here is just optional. It's optional. It's asking you to create a batch operation job. We're not going to do that. We just uncheck where it says generate completion report, or uncheck that and leave everything as default and save changes. Saving changes is successful. So now we're going to upload something to the source bucket. The source bucket, go to buckets. The source bucket is the one in US is 1. So I'm going to click on that and upload an object and see how it gets replicated. So I click that, add files, and choose any file. I have a couple of files on my system. Let me just choose any file. Let me just choose any of these files and then open it, and then go to upload. The replication takes a little bit of time to complete, guys, because if I go to the destination bucket now, I'm not going to see it, because remember, I'm using S3 standard storage tier, which means that when you upload it to the source bucket, it must first of all is doing what is called asynchronous replication. It has to first of all replicate the objects in US in at least a minimum of 3 availability zones in US East 1, which is Virginia, before it complete the replication, the cross-region replication to US East 2. So it might take some seconds or minutes to complete, for the replication to complete. Perfect. Now the replication is completed in US East 2. So that's how you do cross-region replication, guys. Thank you for watching.